I don't really know what else to say. And they're like, wow, how refreshing. We like this guy hired. I was like, fuck, more work.
I don't understand how this world works.
Why is this happening? It's bullshit. But it's also a blessing. I mean, it's really good. It's really nice.
It all goes back to you and I deciding, you know what? We can make nationals.
No, dude. We did.
See, that's our problem. We're too friggin' committed. Once we have a goal, that's it.
All right. And on that note, I would like to introduce you guys to my good friend. The other day on our podcast, I referred to him as the other guy. That was kind of mean. This is like one of my best buds from high school. Knows a lot about MMA. He was actually like a bigger fan growing up than I was. Kind of in some ways got me into the sport. Really from his obsession with one George St. Pierre. So
yeah, because he's the greatest.
He's the greatest. I fell in love with him too, though. George was the best. George is the best. All right, we're gonna cue this up. We're gonna start it. This is 4:58. I mean, you guys are just gonna see. I'll play it on the screen the way we'll be seeing it. And yeah, this is gonna be our reaction video to the UFC 229 pre-fight press conference with Khabib and McGregor. Let's go. All right. Got a video game promo.
Conor's not here yet.
Surprise, surprise.
He said he's not going to wait. He wants to start the press conference without him.
Conor's out there slinging that proper 12, man. He's a busy man.
Does anybody in the media have a question for Khabib?
Well, Khabib.
Okay, first off, props to bringing in some fans.
Let's get some mics down here, you guys.
Just
right.
that extra energy.
Habib,
it may be useless, but it's,
I mean, you're here in a
it
press
adds,
conference
right?
by yourself. Give me an idea what the emotion is like for you having to be here by yourself and no Conor.
Hey, I don't need to wait for nobody. This is 3 p.m. Friends is here, media is here, everybody is here. Done a little bit late, it's okay. But 3 p.m. I beginning. If you guys have questions, let's go.
Khabib's like, it's business time.
Well, Khabib, of course, this is a huge opportunity for you. Massive fight, biggest fight of all time in UFC history. Let me ask you,
put 305 on
what do you think this does for your career? What comes next? What do you see? You know, we saw Conor get 2 belts. We've seen people go weight classes. What do you do after the biggest fight in UFC history?
Go to Disney World.
Honestly, I don't know, because I'm not underestimate this guy. You know, I'm preparing. My weight is good. Tonight I have to make weight, and it's like after tomorrow. After tomorrow, I'm focused on after tomorrow. After, we will see. We're gonna talk after this fight.
Thanks, Khabib. And Dana,
Dana,
if I could just quickly for you,
to his
I mean, what's your emotion right now? The biggest star in the sport, all these people wanting to see Conor, and he's not here. I mean, what's your take on that?
Listen, man, I'm excited. I can't wait for the weigh-ins. I can't wait for the fight. And Conor's in a car right now. He's on his way here, so he'll be here in a few minutes. But yeah, I'm excited. So far, so good. Everything's been perfect, and
that Dana,
I'm ready for the fight, man.
And Dana, just lastly for you, I mean, between the main and the co-main, huge fights at lightweight, right? I mean, the future of the division looks exciting, but we still got that Dustin and Nate fight out there that we're wondering what's up with that, because that would seem to factor into a future title shot as well. Can you give us any updates? Is that fight happening? Is it a main event?
We're still working on New York. And, yeah, but as far as I know right now, that fight's happening. Yes.
Could that be a main event? I saw you on Instagram telling people.
Not the main event.
Okay, thanks.
Right, it should be. Shevchenko versus another no-name Chill Massacre. Great.
Khabib, Conor always tries different things to get inside your head. Are you surprised that he's not here, or were you expecting something like this?
231?
If you talk about he go inside my head, we're gonna see Saturday night. We're gonna see this.
Are you surprised that he's not here, or were you expecting this?
No, I don't think about him. You know, I have a schedule. 3 p.m. press conference has to begin because I have schedule. I have to make weight. I have to worry about myself. Why I have to think
he's
about
really
him
concerned about making weight these days now?
If somebody late, this is
he's
not
turned
my
over
problem.
a new leaf.
Brooklyn happened 6 months ago, almost exactly 6 months ago. Are you still angry about what happened then?
Little bit. If I say no, this is not true. Little bit, of course, I'm angry, a little bit emotional, but my job, when I go to the cage, I have to control my emotional, I have to stay relaxed, but keep going and maul this guy.
Does the anger help you?
Sometimes this happens. Sometimes this helps you, sometimes it's not, but most important, stay relaxed when you go to the cage. This is most important.
He seems really tense, like really, like the way he's answering, he's like kind of angry about the answer, like not. It's, I don't know, it's just weird body language. You getting that?
Mm-hmm. He's tense. It's. I mean, like he probably feels disrespected.
Khabib.
Well, the fans are chanting "sit in the bus," so I guess that's.
Back in New York a few weeks ago, Conor said a few things about your teammates, your family, your fellow countrymen. Is Conor safe going to Russia these days?
Sorry, bro. Sorry. One more again. Sorry about.
Go ahead. Conor said a lot of things about your fellow countrymen and your family. Is he safe going to Russia these days?
Dana just turned into a lawyer.
He can say whatever he wants. When alcoholic, someone drunk guy talk, nobody cares about him. We just leave him alone, ignore him, and when we go to the cage, we will see who's gonna talk.
That's why no one cares when I talk.
Just lastly,
oh yeah.
Wake up. We know it's always difficult. How much have you got left to cut tonight, and how much are you weighing right now?
Hey, weight cut is always is hard. Always is hard. Thursday, this is my weight cut day, and you know that's why I don't wanna wait for someone 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
I guess that might
it's
explain
like 3
what he's
p.m.
sort
press
of
conference.
testing right
After
now.
press conference, I have to go home and focus on my weight cut.
No tiramisu this time.
Yeah, but he shouldn't really be focusing on his weight cut today. Like he's way too far in now to be.
Will you shake Conor's hand after the
pretty
fight?
much needs to be there, eh? Like
win or
besides
lose,
maybe
will
a
you shake
tryout
Conor's hand
tomorrow.
after the fight?
I'm gonna shake his hand.
After the fight, win or lose,
No.
will you?
No way. No way.
Why not?
Because
It's a good reason.
Maybe he'll employ the Stockton slap.
Khabib, over here.
Not shake his hand.
I know you're on a strict schedule. How much time are you going to wait for Conor to get here? Do you have to leave after a certain period of time?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
We will see. Maybe 2 minutes.
Wait,
maybe
I thought
20
you were just talking about your schedule.
I'm
Now
gonna
you're
let
like,
you
I don't
know
know what
guys
I'm
before
doing
I
after this. I just know I had to be
Tony
here.
Ferguson was at
But
the
like,
media day today.
pretty
and
well
he brought
clear the
his
rest of the
belt.
night.
He believes he's the real champion. What's your response to that?
Hey, you have to believe. You have to believe. When you fight like this high-level fight, you know, you have to believe you're the champ. Nobody can beat you. It's okay. I'm okay about this. But I'm not okay about when Dana say, where's Conor belts? I'm not okay about this because Dana already know where's Conor belts. Max Holloway and Khabib Nurmagomedov. He have to know, but, you know, he bring with him belts, like, believe himself. It's okay. I'm okay about this. But tell this guy, hey, he lose his belts. He lose his mind. 2 years he didn't fight in UFC.
Last question. I know there's some rumors around a 165 belt being introduced one day. Would you be interested in fighting for a 165-pound title?
That's absolutely not true.
I like this weight. I like this weight. Why not 165, 175, or 170? Like, I think in future UFC gonna do these weights. Like right now, I don't know, and I don't think about these weights too. You know, because after tomorrow I have biggest fight in UFC history, and I'm more focused on this fight.
Well, that was basically confirmation. Now that Dana White has denied it.
It should. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it wouldn't be a bad thing to do.
In the octagon?
They need to give something to the fans because UFC hasn't been super fan-friendly lately.
Like beginning of the first round, I have to be careful with him because he have good timing, good boxing, you know. And but my wrestling and my pressure, he have to kill me for stopping, you know. Inshallah, I'm gonna stop this guy. I'm gonna finish this guy. This is my plan.
Khabib, over here, Khabib, to your right, Dana. Given what's happened in the build-up to this, and in New York, and the way you've been with each other, the discussion of Islam, the whiskey last week. Has this become bigger than just a fight in a steel cage on a Saturday
Why does everyone keep trying to like tack on all this other stuff? Like, of course, Conor's going to kind of hype it up because that's Conor's sort of MO pre-fight and stuff, right? But I don't think the journalists should be trying to push some sort of
more than
religious
for me, it's more than fight for the title, more than main event.
Any kind of other overtone. It seems
honestly,
silly.
For me, it's personal, and of course, this is biggest fight in UFC history, and we're gonna break this record. Numbers already talk about this, and for me, it's personal.
Finally, do you believe that the way Conor McGregor behaves, not turning up on time, disrespects you as the champion and the sport?
I don't care about this. I don't care about this. Most important, this is believe myself. This is most important. I don't care about someone believe me or not. This is, I don't care.
Khabib, you said before that you're gonna give him 25 minutes in jail inside the octagon. Do you still feel the same way? Is the fight going to decision?
Maybe decision. Maybe I'm gonna finish him, But all the time when he tired, he give up. This is all the time. Like before fights, he talk like, I'm ready for this, I'm ready for this. When he fight with Diaz, when he fight with Mayweather, like, but when he tired, he give up all the time.
Well, I'd kind of give up after being tired and fighting Mayweather too,
How do you think your level of hunger in this fight compares to Conor's?
Is that Helwani back there? Do you see him? Like the back of his shirt?
Again, honey, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
How do you think your
see him by the
level
AutoZone
of
logo?
hunger
That's Helwani, isn't
compares
it?
to Conor's?
Kind of looks like him. Got the bald head.
Sorry about this because like I don't hear. Of course I believe myself. Of course. How I come here if I don't believe myself? I am UFC champion, undefeated, undisputed. If you don't believe yourself, how you can take this? And I believe God first, and after I believe myself. You know why I'm here? Because God helped me. That's why I'm here.
Do you think you want this more than Conor does now that Conor has money and fame? Who's hungrier?
We'll see. Saturday night, I'm going to show this. Saturday night, all question is going to be answered Saturday night. Please wait 2 more days.
And Dana, for you, you had expressed in the past concern that McGregor may not be hungry because he made all that money and has all that fame. Now that this fight has been made, what do you think about his hunger?
That McGregor might what?
You didn't know if he would take another fight because he made a ton of money and already accomplished what he had wanted. What do you think about his level of hunger now?
Yeah, no, basically what I said is when a guy makes $100 million, you don't know if he's ever going to fight again. Conor made a lot of money.
I'm gonna sign you to a fight. Pay you $100 million no matter the outcome. But you gotta fight.
No matter how much money you make,
jump in the ropes as soon as the bell rings. Would you take a second fight?
You can tell this guy is passionate about fighting. He loves it. He loves breaking records, and he obviously loves making money. So he's back.
Just quickly, Khabib, what do you think of the crowd here? Because they've been very loud leading into this fight. Does it affect you at all, dealing with the boos? How's it affected you mentally? And are you surprised there's no more Russian fans here?
Hey, I love these fans, because without these fans, this event is not happen, And thank you so much, guys. They come here, buy tickets, airplane. They come, like without fans, is nothing happen. Thank you so much. And these guys give me motivation, It's okay. They have to support this guy. I'm okay about this. Thank you, guys. Hey, guys, 15 minutes. 15 minutes, I'm here. This guy didn't come. This is big disrespect. And thank you so much. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., I'm going to show you my weight. And see you tomorrow, guys. Have a good night.
Wow, okay.
Oh. Jeez.
Okay, so we're not even going to see them do stuff together. What is the point?
This is awkward.
Dana, we got a question for you.
All right.
Thanks, Dana.
In the center and the back, straight ahead.
Hey, what's up, Kev?
Can you give an update? You said yesterday
Wow.
the pay-per-view was tracking. Can you give us any updates? Has it changed since yesterday?
It's crazy. The tracking, all the numbers are tracking higher than Mayweather McGregor, and you know this fight is a global fight. The whole world literally
Hot take,
will be
you
watching
buy that?
this fight. So I don't know, man. It's huge. It's massive. I obviously don't
Funny
want to
man.
come out and say we're going to do
Yeah.
Mayweather McGregor numbers, but we could possibly do Mayweather.
Wow,
McGregor
walk that
numbers.
back like within 10 seconds.
I mean, we're going to beat their numbers.
Us not getting
We might
a
not.
stare down today. How does this affect the final days building up to this fight?
It doesn't. You
Good
know,
old Dana.
obviously this wasn't the plan today, and you know this is.
Maybe we'll give him a break. Maybe
this
he's a
shit
little
happens,
nervous
so.
there.
Does it bum you out that Conor didn't show up on time, or are you upset Khabib left now?
They'll both be at the weigh-ins tomorrow on time, and we'll get the stare down tomorrow when it matters, when the fight's actually gonna. To be honest with you, I prefer that anyway. Tomorrow, we saw the stare down in New York. I want to see the stare down tomorrow. That's the one I'm interested in.
And just going back to what you said earlier about 165, why are you so adamantly against adding a
Because
165?
it's true.
It's fake news. So
No, just the concept of it. Why do you not like it?
I don't like anything about it. It depletes the 55-pound division, and all the guys that can't win titles at 55 or 70 are going to run to 65 and try to win a title.
Put 70 up to 75,
Yeah.
put it 65, let it
Right.
go.
It doesn't seem like.
Dana, the press conference is.
That's always been a major
press
complaint of the
conference is
UFC, though,
always
is that
a good
gap
way to,
between
I guess people
155,
to satiate
170,
your appetite for a
185,
fight like
right?
this. Are you disappointed
Tighten
with
them
how
up.
things have turned out here?
Listen, this shit happens. Like I said, we had a press conference in New York. This one was, you know, not what we planned, not how we planned it to go down. But at the end of the day, you know, like I always say about McGregor, with the mental warfare games that go on and all the things that are said, there's a counter to it right there. I'm here on time. I spoke to the media. I'm out of here. So I'm not going to play your game and wait for you. And you know, this is all part of the shit that goes on leading up to the fight.
This is a contractual obligation for Conor.
Nice save, Dana.
Happened in the past
Yeah.
He has not showing up to a conference. Are there any consequences for anything of this nature?
What?
Everybody just spun around. Yeah.
Ole, ole, ole.
I'm guessing that means he's there, right?
Jim Griesheimer, cage
I don't know,
side
maybe
seat.
something's
You
moving
said from the
else
beginning
out.
when you guys came in that this is a global sport. You can go anywhere in the world, and people love to watch two guys fight. Is this literally what you had in mind? A guy from Ireland and a guy from Dagestan, the biggest fight in UFC history. I mean, this is what you planned for all along, and what you said was coming. How does it feel now that you're here with a fight like this?
Yeah, I've talked to many people
Dude,
about
that dude's
this
suit,
week.
though.
You know, as you continue to grow the sport and you know, go into all these different countries and find new talent, and as technology continues to get better with OTT, and literally the world can tune in and watch a fight together. So yeah, we're there. This is just the beginning of getting to that place that I used to talk about.
And you're a big boxing guy. Do you think now Conor is the biggest sell in combat sports? Is he the biggest star with this fight coming back, and what he did against Mayweather? Mayweather had a couple fights around 500,000 buys, and then he fights Pacquiao and Conor. But is it safe to say Conor's the biggest star in the world in combat sports now?
100%. And if you look at what he's
I know
done,
I'm going to ask a question in the press
think about
conference
this. When
today.
you talk about Floyd Mayweather's
I'm wearing
numbers,
the good
Floyd
suit.
Mayweather's been fighting for 20 years. Conor McGregor has not been around for 20 years, and he's been pulling big numbers, you know, pretty much right after he got in here. So the answer to that is absolutely. Absolutely.
Great question.
I want to ask you if you have any updates about John Jones, any opponents in mind, anything you can tell us, and also what do you think about the USADA deal that he
No,
Where's David?
John Jones isn't in shape.
He'd be all
yet.
excited about
John
that Texas
Jones
shirt.
hasn't trained, hasn't got ready, so he's got to get into camp before we can even think about when he's going to fight. I'd like to see him fight at the end of the year or the beginning of next year, but we'll see. And what was the last question you asked me?
About what do you think about the USADA deal that he had, the whole, I guess, snitching thing?
What do I think about the USADA thing?
USADA, the
Yeah.
USADA deal that he, I guess, they made a deal. USADA made a deal with him. right? That if he tells information...
Sorry, I don't understand one word you're saying right now. USADA is the only thing I understood out of that.
So he made a deal with them, right? They call it like he supposedly snitching, giving information about other
Is he
fighters.
being serious or is he just deflecting?
You talking about John Jones?
Yes.
Yeah. And what happened with John Jones?
And USADA, like...
Yeah. You'd have to ask Jeff Nowitzki about that. I don't know enough about it to honestly give you an educated answer on that.
Sorry, apologize for my Israel.
I don't give a shit about drug testing anymore. I'm out of that business. USADA does it.
All right.
That was the biggest nightmare of my life.
What a sidestep.
Hey Dana.
Yep.
Obi.
That guy gets his news from Daniel Cormier.
I know you were on an Instagram chat, and you'd mentioned that Nate Diaz, like you would talk to Nate Diaz about that Madison Square Garden.
Think he's a McGregor fan?
Is there any update on that?
That I said I would talk to him about it?
Well, you said
somebody asked me on there, that fight should be 5 rounds.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Is there any update
I said
on
deal. We can make it 5 rounds.
Do they agree to that, though?
No,
Will they do it?
Dude, that's the last thing I'm thinking about right now. I'm not even...
I know, we're just killing time.
I'm so not there right now.
We're just killing time.
So, Dana, I wanted to ask Khabib this before he left, but do you have any insight into why his father was denied a visa again?
Did I have any insight into what?
Any inside information about why his father was denied a visa again?
Why? Who's Khabib?
Khabib's father.
His father didn't get a visa?
No.
I didn't even know.
And also, just curious, because Conor is habitually late, how much logistically goes into giving leeway for venue rentals and things like that, just to make sure the UFC doesn't get dinged too hard on fines?
What's the question?
How much leeway do you plan for, logistically speaking, for Conor to be late?
Listen, when I got here at 2:57. They said Conor was in the car and was on his way here. So they said, just hang, Conor's in the car on his way here. He said, I'm not waiting. I'm doing the press conference. I'm a professional, and I was here at 3.
Well, he shot at Dana, too, because Dana kind of showed up late then, too, right?
Well, right? Yeah. I don't give a shit right now. Listen, he just said what he had to say. He's going to show up here in a minute, and he'll answer everybody's questions and do whatever. And you know what I mean? Then tomorrow, we're going to have these two face off at the weigh-ins. They're going to weigh in, they're going to face off, and on Saturday, they're going to fight. We're here, man. This is all I care about is the weigh-ins and the fight. Listen, I know that this fight's so big that everybody had a lot of questions, and everybody wants to, he answered his questions. He's going to come
Shouldn't it
answer
stand
his.
to reason that Cormier should be the guy in the middle tomorrow? He's like the biggest, baddest dude they got, right? So you got to keep them apart. Just put Cormier in the middle.
The world wanted to see them face off today, man. Everybody wanted to see that.
You're going to see them face off tomorrow when it really counts, when we both know that they both made weight. You know what I mean? They're both mentally wherever they are after these weight cuts and going into Saturday. You cannot deny that the weigh-ins on Friday are the best day other than the fight when they square off, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
I don't know if you could say that, Dana, because you don't have your organization doesn't have a good track record for making weight lately.
Dana, over here to your left.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right here. Is today the biggest day of your professional career?
Yeah, it's definitely one of them. I mean, when you talk about my professional career, there's been a lot of big days. Signing a deal with ESPN was a very big day in my career. Signing the deal we did with Fox and many other days. But when you talk about fights and the magnitude of a fight and the amount of people that are interested in the fight, definitely.
As a fight fan yourself, could you maybe rank the hype of this fight compared to maybe other boxing fights in the history? Or
Okay, they're talking about hype, and I heard somebody else talking about this too, so I'll ask you. So I've heard some guys say that, like, in the MMA bubble, we're all excited, right? Because this is a high-level fight. This is the kind of thing you want to see. Outside of the bubble, this isn't really hitting the same. Like, people heard about McGregor Mayweather, and, like, your average fan, your lay fan, they were into it, right? This fight maybe isn't getting those people. So do you think there's a lot in the bubble happening, or we're like, yeah, we're really excited, but we're not really looking outside to see if
I would say the hype of this fight is
Joe Schmo, who watches maybe 1-2 UFC events a year, does he care?
Yeah, the casuals.
To your left.
I don't know.
Standing up.
McGregor's
So
always a big deal,
everyone's
though.
excited about this fight, but we've seen people not make weight. We've seen late injuries. How hard is it to come up with that backup plan? And you have a great co-main event. How do you choose which fighter gets thrust into the main event if one fighter has to pull out?
Well, then you have to look at, did both those guys make weight? There's a lot of different factors. But right now, Tony Ferguson is the guy, without a doubt. If anything should happen, obviously Tony Ferguson would be next in line.
And if you have to go through that again, we haven't seen Conor miss a fight. But you can't seem to book Khabib versus Tony to save your life, right? That fight never happens.
Right.
If you get Khabib versus Tony, would you still be satisfied with that as a title main event?
That would be such a twist.
Listen,
yeah.
That's not what I want, obviously.
No, of course not.
This fight has to happen. We'll see what happens. Dude, the way you're thinking, that shit isn't even in my head right now. I don't even want to think like that.
It's like, don't jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Yeah, please, no.
Oh, here's the man. The man, the myth, the legend. Here he is.
You seem to be wearing similar shirts.
Get your last question in.
I'm the inverse. I got the black. He's rocking the white, man. I don't got Conor swag.
He's had an interesting demeanor, a little bit angry maybe. Are you guys on good terms?
Tony's always angry, so that's the way he likes it, I think. So, yeah, I'm totally cool with Tony, and yeah.
And if he wins, you'd assume that maybe he's next in line, regardless of.
Yeah.
I can't believe they just got a camera following him on the walk-in, like he's walking out on fight night.
All right, thanks for your time, Dana. I guess the Notorious is coming on stage.
Yeah, the Notorious.
Oh, he brought his booze with him.
He's arrived. He's arrived. A gift? It's a cheap gift. I looked on the sites; they're already going on sale. Yeah, they're selling for less than 30 over here.
What's up, Ireland? The Irish are back in town on fucking look. The traffic is heavy out there, you know yourself.
Right.
Well, Conor, we appreciate you coming. Can you give us an idea what was going on this afternoon with your late arrival? And was this a conscious decision? Maybe a little bit of a mind game, maybe a little psychology.
He knew what he fucking signed up for. I've been late on this. The traffic is a little heavy. There must be a McGregor fight going on. I don't know where the little fool is. He's better off running anyway. You know yourself, I bet you he was saying a load of shit up here. He didn't say anything the last time, so, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. Fuck it. These things happen.
Are you disappointed at all, Conor? Because I know the face-off, we were all looking forward to it today, and maybe that'd be an opportunity for you to kind of get in his head a little bit. I mean, you're disappointed that you don't get to stare him down today?
Yeah, well, I mean, I did not plan this. I tried to get here. You know yourself, I'm only a couple of minutes late, for fuck's sake. The mad backwards cunt, he should have just stayed put. But whatever, that's his sign. He doesn't want to be around me. He doesn't want to be around these people. He is petrified. And that's it. He said nothing in New York, and I guarantee he was saying shit while I wasn't here. So that's the truth of it. So, hey, it is what it is. Fuck it. I've given you enough bleeding face-offs and all this shit over my years. So, look, I'm here to fight this man Saturday night. He has to make weight. Make sure he goes and gets that fucking weight off him. That's more important for me. I want him making weight. I want him to show up on Saturday night because he has pulled out fights very last minute, been rushed to hospital and all this other bollocks. So get that man into that sauna and cook him like a little chicken jaw rat that he is.
He needs to get on that McGregor Fast program.
Conor, you've accomplished a lot of incredible things in your career already, but can you kind of...
Who's on the proper whiskey? Yeah, man! Yeah! Only another couple of hours and I'll be on it with you.
Can you talk about where this would rank? I mean, stepping away for 2 years from the sport, coming back, facing the undefeated, unbeatable Russian champion, the toughest stylistic matchup for you. Where would this rank in terms of your career accomplishments?
It's another day, setting the bar high and knocking it out of the park. I plan on knocking that man's nose straight into the nosebleeds. That's what's going to happen on Saturday night.
And last thing for me, Conor, I mean, as we break down this fight, we see the two opportunities that he may have as grappling and cardio. How much of those two factors factor into your camp? We know you like to break things down and be scientific about it, so how much were those the focus of your camp?
I've been grappling and wrestling much heavier men this whole camp. 200-pounders, even only yesterday, 200-pounders, 25 minutes straight. I have cut no corners here. I am ready for all outcomes. I feel once I hit him, he's going to turn weak. I expect panic in him early, but we are prepared for every every outcome. I also don't give a bollocks. I've experienced it all. I've got fucking tired in there. I've been on my back in there. I've been in every scenario you can be in under the brightest lights in the entire world. I am a veteran, so I'm going to go out here and do what I am here for, to enjoy it. I am here to enjoy this because this is what I love. I'm going to come out fast from the bell, pressure him, and look, like I said, send that man's nose into the nosebleed.
All right. That's it. Oh, there we go. Hey, ole, ole.
Conor, down to your left.
You'll never beat the fucking Irish. You will never beat the Irish. Well, Las Vegas, the Irish are back in town. We fucking love it.
Conor, you're just saying it's yourself there. The fans weren't there in New York. They're here today. Is this the way it always should have been?
This is what I campaigned for in New York as well. I almost wasn't going to show up to the New York press conference. It's great to see the fans here. Now they're going to keep coming and coming and coming. And it's going to be a great fight week. So we're very, very excited. I'm filled with energy seeing my people come here and support me. And I look forward to going and making every single one of you proud on Saturday night. Thank you so much, truly, from the bottom of my heart. It's good to be back.
Khabib's carrying his belt around. Tony Ferguson's carrying a belt around.
Everyone has a belt.
I was in a hurry. I tried to get going. They're in my gaff. They're in my bedroom. I actually forgot them as I came out. There's a bloke gone back to get them. But because I was late and caused that little backwards cunt sprinted off the stage, I was like, fuck it, I'll just come on the damn stage. Let them carry their fake belts. Let them do this and do that. It's all good to me. I'm here. I know who the king is, and I'm going to show it on Saturday night.
Just lastly, you mentioned it a minute ago about him making weight. Part of him leaving earlier was because he says he wants to get on schedule to go and make the weight tomorrow. If he doesn't, do we still have a fight?
You know with me, there's always a fight going on somewhere. I don't give a bollocks about the weight or any of that. But he must make that weight for the championship weight. But if he doesn't, we'll figure it out when we get to it. But I'm fighting, know that.
Conor, to your right here. Yesterday at the open workouts, Khabib had a few things to say about the Irish language and about your family.
Nice Vegas fights.
And obviously now you don't get the chance to reply to him directly. But what do you have to say to those comments that he made?
Yeah, you should never take information from an informant. You should keep distance from the informant at all times. And that's putting it for the media. That's the friendly way of putting it. His manager is a fucking snitch, terrorist rat. And that's it. I could go into heavy detail, and I will. And I will go into heavy detail. He was pulled off of a flight going from Cairo, Egypt, to New York City on September 11, 2001. He was caught with 5 passports in his possession. He turned informant and turned on the people that he was working with. He is I don't even know how that man is in this fucking country. We're all facing, I'm sure everyone here, the Irish people, are facing all this immigration stuff on the way over. My own people are facing it, my family. It's getting stopped at the airport and this and that. And then you've got this man with such a crazy background, Ali Abdelaziz, and he's rocking around free. It begs belief, to be honest, but hey, don't ever take information from an informant, and that's what that man is doing. He's a rat bastard, and I'm going to get him on Saturday night.
Dude, Conor leaks. Eddie Bravo, look into it.
To the Irish fans is something he's never done before. Do you think the presence of all these Irish fans here has kind of gotten to him mentally?
Fuck him and his mentality. I don't give a fuck about him. My heart is black towards this man, towards his team, towards his people. I could truly see the inside of that man's head and smile. I don't give a fuck about him or his people. Like I said, there is way deeper shit than just a fight on Saturday night. So it is what it is. I'm here. I'm going to settle this the noble way for myself and then see what happens after that.
Conor, right here. Conor, they said you couldn't get in Aldo's head. They said you couldn't get in Eddie Alvarez's head. Do you think that you're in Khabib's head right now? He's obviously not here for the press conference. Where are you at with that?
Where's he at? He sprinted out here. I mean, it's clear as day. But again, I don't really care about
his mentality or what he's thinking. I do not give a fuck. I am ruthless here. I am coming to put a hole in this man's skull, dint my knuckle into his orbital bone, and that's what I'm going to do.
You said this is a very personal fight. You have been very gracious before in wins and also in defeats. Do you see yourself being able to kind of squash the beef after fighting with him? Will you extend your hand after the fight on Saturday night?
Fuck peace. There will never be peace here. I always say you should aim for peace. But if you can't aim for peace, aim between the eyes. And that's it. I'm going to aim right between that man's eyes. And this is never over. Never, ever, ever over.
The guys in Vegas are working overtime right now getting that put on shirts, and they're
McGregor,
standing out in front of, what is it? T-Mobile Arena selling the shit out of those.
Let's talk about whiskey for 1 second. We have the crowd seems to be very pleased about that. But your whiskey hasn't been announced in Israel. It hasn't arrived yet. And I wonder if it's good, because in some places I've read in the Business Insider it's terrible.
Have a drink of it now and tell me what you think. There's always going to be begrudgers and people that are hating and this and that. It comes with the territory when you're at the top of the game. Trust me, it is the tastiest Irish whiskey there is on the planet. I fucking love it. And I don't give a bollocks what anyone says. I'm not even trying to sell it. Just have a sip of it. Just take a bottle with you and enjoy yourself. Now, not you, the smell of you. Keep him out bringing up negative shit. You ask my bollocks, man. It's for the Irish, I want everyone in this room to scream at the top of their lungs. Fuck the Jameson brothers.
Oh!
1, 2, 3. Fuck the Jameson.
He's going after Jameson.
Yes, coming for it all, mate.
Dude, no chill. Conor, no chill.
Conor, with the whiskey.
Rest in peace, is that reporter?
In a lot of different places, especially here in Las Vegas.
He was all excited. He's like, oh, we'll come get some.
On how well it's been doing?
It's exceeded expectations. It's actually blown the people. Like, I'm involved with a couple of people that are involved in the liquor business their entire life, and they've never seen anything like this. And I've just got to thank my fans and my people who are supporting me. The love that they've shown me for this whiskey and myself, I'm actually blown away. It has skyrocketed. We're trying to meet the demand now. So we're in a stage where we're trying to get the more glass created.
Now stop down the presser for the fight.
Bear with us, but
talking about booze.
It's out of the park. I tell you what, though, it's flown in Las Vegas for this fight week. Know that. We got that sorted.
Nice. Good.
Fights like they're wars. At the last press conference, you had so much information about Khabib that a lot of people, I guess, unless they're really entrenched in the sport, don't really know about. Is that part of the art of war to you, is learning as much information about your opponent as possible?
I just observe. I know every shot everyone throws. I know every move everyone makes. That's it. I just keep my eyes on the game that I run. That's it. I overlook my empire with a hawk eye. So that's it.
And after the open workout yesterday, Khabib started to talk about stuff from your past. What do you think that means, that he went and looked up information about you?
Here we go. Me belts are on my time. A little late.
Conor time.
Thanks,
Belt's coming on Conor time.
No, sorry, what you say?
That's all right. So what do you think it means that he went and started looking up information
about you as a response? He's listening to that informant. That's it. I don't care what he's saying, whatever. It's all good to me, mate. It's closing in on fight time. You just cook yourself in that fucking sauna, you smelly Dagestani rat, and be there on Friday at the game, and be there on Saturday at that fucking fight. That's it. Say what you want, though. You don't give a bollocks. You haven't got the balls enough to stay here for a couple of minutes extra. He got out here, he spotted his chance and went running, and that's it. Like in the fight, I believe he'll spot an exit and he'll try and take it, but I won't let it happen.
Conor, over here to your left. Dana was worried for a while that you wouldn't come back, you'd made too much money. You mentioned falling out of love with the game. Are you here to stay? The place is buzzing to have you back. Are you all in?
Yes, that's why I'm here. The fans, the love, the energy. And you know, you can't beat that. Truly, you can't beat that. It's as addictive as this tasty proper 12 whiskey. But you know what's also good about, what's also a good thing about money? What's also better than money? More fucking money. So that's it. There's a lot more coming in, And the fights, I just love to be here and do what I'm doing, and I'm just going to keep doing it, and that's it. I'm only 30 years of age, just gone. So I'm very, very young in the game. Although I've been around and I'm experienced, I'm only a young fighter compared to the rest in the game. So I'm here for another...
Damn, Conor's 30. Where's the time gone, Tyler?
You said this is never going to be over with Khabib. Do you see yourself maybe fighting him more than once, or if you get the devastating knockout you say you're going to get, is this the end of it in terms of in the cage?
We'll see what happens. I don't know. We'll see. I'd like to fight Ali. I'd like to fight that rap acid. I'd like to fight him somewhere. What's he at? Mountain out of him, non-stop. I hear he's had a few fights. I may want to fight. I may want to spark Khabib and headline that Madison Square Garden card next. When is that? November what?
3rd.
Oh, please
November what? 3rd. So that's less than a month away from this one. I may want to do that one. That's
I would be there.
So we'll see what happens.
We'd be covering that live.
What do you think about that?
Lovely. Get the fight promo started. A snitch versus an Irish proper animal. So let's go.
Conor, right here, cage side seat. I want to ask you about your legacy. We already talked to Dana. He said he thinks you're the biggest star in combat sports in the world right now. And that's hard to argue with the numbers that you're generating and the fans that are here from all over the world. Where does your legacy go from here when it's already so big, everything that's already happened in your career?
Just keep doing my thing. Keep showing up, looking for a knock and giving. At the end of the day, when I sign up, you're going to get a fight. That's known for a fact. I come out fast, I come out aggressive, and it's a damn fight. There's no holding, there's none of this stalling. It's a straight knock. So that's it. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. My legacy is set in stone. Two-way world champion, the first, the only.
Champ.
Everything is... I just keep on going, see what happens.
He's not the only one, though, because Cormier's... Except they let Cormier keep his titles and they strip
your
Conor.
level of hunger to be now that you don't have to worry about money, you have your hands in a lot of different projects, and might Khabib be hungrier than you?
No.
You asked the same question.
No. I'm starving. I am starving for this man's head. I am going to eat him alive in here, and I don't give a bollocks. So there's no way this man's hungrier than me. There's nobody that's hungrier than me in this game. I don't stop. I'm too on it. I'm 24/7 on this game, so that's it.
She was like, I wrote one question, so...
Yeah. You're going to have to share the question.
Dana, how hungry are you for this fight?
Go ahead, who's next?
Here, Conor. Here.
Yes, I see you.
Conor.
Deadpool style. I only have one question. There's 3 of you. Share.
You want to come to Las Vegas maybe a month before or 40 days before to get used to the climate and to get away with the jet lag. How come you haven't done this this time out?
It's hard to leave Ireland when you're in it. It's a damn good place to be.
Yeah.
The air, the people, everything. It's my
Hey,
home.
little man.
So I spent a lot more time in Ireland this time. But I've also done the rounds in Las Vegas. I've been here for many months on end. So I'm experienced with the Las Vegas climate.
What do you
also,
think about
so
the
I said
fight,
I'll
huh?
stay in my beautiful home of Ireland and then come out a little bit later, and that's what we're doing. I feel great. I'm energized. I'm a day from the weigh-ins. I've lots of energy, so I'm very, very happy with it. We've done it perfectly.
A couple of weeks ago, you looked Khabib into the eye, and you're going to do that again tomorrow. What will you try? What did you see back then, and what do you think you will see tomorrow?
I saw a man that does not want to be here, to be honest. And like you saw there, he got out of there quick.
Co-host.
So
nice.
That's what I saw. But hey, you can't run now. Now it's in front of you. So I'm excited about that.
Let's go.
Jose Aldo was also a fighter that hadn't lost in a very long time, like Khabib has. And he came out very, very aggressively in the first round. Do you think we will see something similar with Khabib?
He's afraid of a clatter. Make no mistake, he does not like to be hit. He has novice reactions. He's a flincher, we call them in the novice ranks. That's what he is. So he's also easily backed up. So I'm very prepared and very aware of what to expect in here. And it ain't nothing that phases me.
Conor, how are you doing?
What's up, mate?
How are things?
Very good. How are you?
Very good, thanks. You've got more money than you'll ever need to spend. You've done it. You're in it for the love of it, Conor.
Yes.
Look at all the fans you have here.
Thank you.
Softball question, Bill.
The Irish members of the media want to see you fight in Dublin again. When's that going to happen?
That's what I said the other day. It's like, I was like, where is the Dublin fight? I mean, I know there's situations with the Crow Park stadiums. I know we want to do big. But I mean, I tell you what, I'd fight in the ringside. I'd fight in the ringside on South Circular Road where I made my boxing debut, or my MMA debut also I made in the Ringside Club next to the National Stadium. And if it's a pub and it fits about 50 people, but I'd fucking fight in it. And that's, I mean, you gotta ask these guys here. You gotta ask Dana and these guys, because I certainly must fight in Ireland before I call it a day.
Where there's a will, there's a way, Conor. You've got the will.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And you're dead.
As long as you keep making UFC money. Yes, there's a way.
Remember, they had GSP fight in Montreal several times.
Sort of compared it to boxing. Somebody in your position, you know, a push from you would sort of mean a lot in that sense. The UFC doesn't seem too keen on 165, but with guys like Nate Diaz, Dustin Poirier pushing for that, how necessary do you think 165 is for the UFC?
I think it would benefit. We have more champions. I think with an overlook we could help athletes in their weight cut situation. I don't think it's the be all end all. I think when people are campaigning for these weight classes and campaigning for anything in general with the UFC or with anything, they usually use a more of a complaining tactic, or like they don't do this, what, and it's like a whining tactic. I think you need to sit down and discuss all aspects of it and what the pros and what the cons are, and then figure it out. I personally believe it would benefit having more belts on the line, potential dual weight, treble weight champions, etc., etc. It would make more for the more juicy pay-per-views. I feel we could sit down and figure it out, and we could get to a solution. I am for it though. 155, 165, 175, 185, 195, 205, and then we'll see.
Wait, do you hear that? Is that Dana White going? Yeah, you're right. It's a good idea.
165, if that was a possibility to potentially claim another belt.
No, that was Dana over on the side going, shut the fuck up.
I could go 185. I don't give a bollocks about it. If there's a fight there that interests me, I'll take it. So I would like the 165-pound belt, I think, but I'd also like the 170-pound belt. So I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I think the game is going through a stage where we're looking to make it better for the athletes who are competing and the struggles of the weight class, and then also the more belts we carry. But I understand, like, the way boxing has gone and things like that, there's like hesitation to it. But again, I think if we sit down, if we map out the pros and cons, I think
the difference between UFC and boxing, though, is you have
solution that benefits everyone.
UFC's promotion being basically the only one that matters right now, right?
Connor,
so there's only UFC belts that matter, and they don't get defended outside of UFC. So
even Muhammad Ali. Just curious about your thoughts about that comment.
Thank you so much, Dana. I appreciate you, the kind words. I also have
Scott Coker coming at me now.
Nothing but good things to say about you. You're an OG of the fight game. The work you've put in over the years to get this sport to each pinnacle.
Oh my
Honestly,
God.
like, you don't get enough credit that you truly deserve. Even this new ESPN deal that we got, like when Lorenzo bowed out, and I was like, wow, I wasn't unsure what would happen. And then with the ESPN deal done, I was like, you're a true pioneer and an OG of the fight game, and it's an honor to be up here doing business with you. I know we've had our ups and downs and our
well, you know, he wants to be a promoter, right?
So thank you for them kind words.
Dana would take an arrow to the knee for Conor.
You tell the truth. No matter what, you tell the truth. Like me also. So he's saying about Muhammad Ali and the mental warfare. I respect that and appreciate that. But Muhammad Ali is a special, special individual. I am not even close to that man's greatness. The things he done throughout his career, he is a special individual, and to be even have my name next to that man is truly a truly proud moment for me. So thank you all. But
this is awesome stuff from Conor.
Compare myself to that great man.
He's great when he shows a little humility.
If this fight were to do 2 million pay-per-view buys, how much money could you stand to make if it did 2 million?
I got no argument.
I know you.
It's obviously he's studied guys like
we're estimating
stuff,
around
right?
3
Like, he
to
knows
3.5 million.
if I am engaging and charismatic over the top,
so
people
for a
will
mixed
watch,
martial
people will
artist
buy. I make
to
more money,
$50 million
right?
in a mixed martial arts bout.
He gets it.
It's quite breathtaking. I've got to thank my management stable, Paradigm Sports Management. I've got to thank Dana White. I've got to thank Lorenzo Fertitta and Frank, who schooled me in the game. The new owners,
Emmy.
What's the name? WME IMG. those guys as well. I haven't really met them that much, but it's been good to me so far. So, no,
I wasn't around when I started, so...
Life is good. I mean, to
They
think
signed
where
the
we have
checks.
come from.
Yeah.
When I fought, like I said, when I fought Nate Diaz, he was on 20, the first time he was on 20,000 to show and 20,000 to win. The game has gone to so much, so many new heights so quickly, and we're all just trying to keep up and catch up. And it's a great time to be involved in the sport from myself, for the fighters, for the promoters, for the managers, for the media in attendance, for the fans, for everyone. Times are good, so let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy these momentous occasions.
All right.
All right, go ahead. I'm going to let you. Yeah, you wanted to ask a question, right? Go ahead, buddy.
Very Oscar De La Hoya,
Team
Conor.
Sports. How long until you're a billionaire, Conor? Congrats on the whiskey.
Thank you so much. I'd say about, well, I'm 30 years of age. I'd say by 35, I'll be a billionaire.
35?
Yes, 35.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Thank you guys all for coming. Conor will do some photo ops right here in front of the podium.
Yeah. I'm a little. I think I'm a little off that number by a little bit. Might not be able to hit those McGregor goals.
Holy crap! Who was that guy?
Who?
I guess that was his bodyguard. That's a big dude. Wow.
All right, so Tyler, thoughts?
I mean, obviously, when you're dealing with attitudes and personalities and stuff, I was just saying that Conor's obviously, he knows how to promote himself, to promote his fight. Like, this is his way of doing things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Khabib has not really been that way, so we don't see that out of him too much. But if you kind of look at personalities, how they were acting on stage, I mean, like I said earlier, obviously Khabib is in his weight cut. Don't know how that's going for him. We won't know until tomorrow, right? But like, he definitely did not seem as comfortable.
No.
Conor obviously was in his element. I mean, that, if you're looking at a mental edge of what we can glean from this 55 minutes or whatever, if that's even true,
right.
I mean, you would give the mental edge to Conor, I would think.
Oh, for sure. This is not a good look for Khabib, and you guys will link in the description below, but you should check out if you want to see a breakdown of the fight. We preview it, we break down this fight, and we give our predictions on what we think will happen. You want to check out that video. We are thorough. We take a deep dive. So
you got to tune in, because I say shit. I don't even remember what I said. I just was saying shit.
If you're just like, man, I can't get enough of Khabib McGregor breakdowns, please go check that out. I had a good time doing that with Tyler here, and then we also had David. David wanted to be here tonight, couldn't make it. He was busy. I agree with you, Tyler. I think that you gotta say that it's weird going like who wins the press conference. I've always I've wavered on how important winning that really is. For guys like McGregor, does seem like it's a big edge, like it's a test for them. It's not a test for McGregor. McGregor will always bring the stuff. He's gonna be at 11 every single time he gets out there. It's like, what can the other guy do? And I am seeing shades of Aldo here. Aldo was never much of a trash talker or much of a media presence. That was part of why, even though he was a dominant champion, and I feel like as fight fans sometimes after McGregor iced him, we sort of we kind of trash talk him a little bit, and we forget that this was one of the most dominant champions that the sport has ever seen. Aldo was legit good. That's why Conor doing what he did to him was so incredible. Aldo, even though he wasn't a trash talker, was always confident, comfortable, in all of the press conferences, but against McGregor, he was always on edge. He was always, he was just not himself. And McGregor really antagonized him. He really bullied him. He hasn't really done that to Khabib so much. He's gone after like his camp, people associated with him, his dad. Again, Conor's just like he's that next gen level when it comes to that mental warfare. Man, you just don't like Khabib's body language. What was it when they were like looking at each other? He was like blue lips. He was like calling him blue lips. He was basically calling Khabib out for having a very tight face, like tight lips. And he was like, I could see that. I could see that you are tense. I can see that you are uncomfortable. And when they were walking together, McGregor was edging forward. He was confident. He was like, come on, let's look me in the eyes, kid. And Khabib was kind of like, I just want to go. I'm done. Let's just take the pictures. Are the pictures done? Good. Let's go. Whew. And you could see as he was walking off, you could see him start smiling. Like it was like, oh, it's over, and he could be relaxed. I think it's gonna be really important for Khabib to be a little relaxed, because if he's that tense, his camp hammered home. Like the theme I think for Khabib was, don't let McGregor get in your head. Don't let him get angry. And I don't know how helpful that was. I think they in some ways got into their own fighter's head. And he was like, all right, don't show any emotion. You could just tell he's like, hold up. He's like, I can't say anything. I don't want to show like and by trying so hard to show like Conor hasn't gotten to him, I think it's showing that he's gotten to him a little bit. It's weird. Yeah. Khabib doesn't look like this in other fights. He's usually very relaxed, very calm, like, hey, I must do this. This my destiny. He talks like that. He's just...
Even tonight, he said, I'm scheduled to be here at 3 o'clock, so I'm here at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like if he wasn't on the schedule, he wouldn't be there, right? Like the only reason he is at the presser is he was told be somewhere at 3 o'clock, so he was there, right?
Right.
It really had nothing to do with enjoying it or whatever. It's just I'm supposed to be here, so I'm here.
Right. And I think when you say like the weight cut, yeah, I mean, people are on edge for weight cuts, and Conor, obviously, he's a 55er now, a legit 55er now, seen as he is the lineal champion. He won the belt. It was stripped from him, but like he never lost to anybody. So
right.
He's a legit 55er, but he fought at 45 before. He's also fought at 170, but he moved up a weight class to win that 55, the class that he had already won a championship in, whereas Khabib has struggled a few times to make weight in this. So you could just tell it didn't look like McGregor is not feeling the pain from the cut.
No.
And Khabib would probably, if it's going to bother one person, it would probably bother Khabib more than McGregor. But I don't know if we can put it all on that. His body language is weird. Maybe a little bit like trying to take back the power by leaving before McGregor gets there. It's an awkward position to be in, because it is, like, dude's obviously disrespecting you. It's like you show up on time. It's like you go to work or something. You got like some kind of like a meeting with a client or like whatever, and like the other person's like, it's like kind of like, dude, it's like your time isn't more important than mine. Like I'm here on time. Right. So I get that. Right. Conor was right. You know what you signed up for. He goes on Conor time. Like Conor makes the money, and as much as Khabib hates Conor, he's gonna be paid handsomely to be fighting Conor. So so it kind of comes with it. And would I have liked to see him stick around? Maybe. And I wouldn't have minded if he stuck around at least till Conor came, maybe did a couple questions while they were both there, had a little bit of back and forth, and then left. It was like, look, I did my time, whatever. You finish this up. Nate Diaz kind of did that when Conor did this. Nate Diaz, still to this day, may have been the only person that in that first press conference when RDA was pulled out of that fight and Nate Diaz came in and they did that press. That may have been the only time I saw a guy like Conor gave him everything and he gave it right back.
Right.
It's the only guy I've ever seen not be rattled by Conor, and that showed in their fights.
Right.
He was not rattled by Conor, and I don't know if you could say that about Khabib. Again, if you want to see what we talk about when it comes to technique, when it comes to skill, strategy, that stuff, go look at our breakdown. But right now we're just talking about the psychological warfare aspect of it, and I think this is a clear victory for McGregor.
Yeah. And you just looking at him, and I don't know, but like you would think the way they're acting, Khabib still has some way to go on his cut.
Right.
I would hope not much. You would assume not much at this point. Conor didn't look like he's got anything more to cut.
No, he looks.
I think Conor looks pretty well set. Yeah, and if he does, he's not acting like it. Again, it's what you project, right?
Right.
So that might be good for Khabib that he wasn't around when Conor was there, because Conor would sense that, right? And he was saying it. He would have been all over it if they were in that room together.
Right. And like, you're not close, but there's so many people from the different camps there for fight week. Like, word gets out. You remember when Khabib with the tiramisu, tiramisu incident, Ferguson called that out.
Yeah.
Remember? He was like, dude, I don't know if this fight's happening. That guy is not going to make weight. Like, he said that 3 days before the weigh-ins. He was like, no, I don't think he. So like, people talk, and it, we'll see. It sounded like Conor was more just. He wasn't really even talking shit about it. I think Conor's like, come on, man, make weight. I want to.
Right.
I think Conor wants to fight.
He
Khabib.
wants to fight. Yeah.
So he doesn't want Khabib to not make weight, but you wonder.
And then if he did make weight, then you got to have these stipulations in, and then potentially Conor would be labeled as an interim because the guy had to vacate the belt or whatever. And
no, nobody wants that. Nobody wants.
Right,
that.
Exactly.
All
yeah,
right.
and
here's my prediction. Khabib's actually like 10 pounds overweight right now. He can't make the cut. He can't make the cut. And they announce tomorrow at the weigh-ins for the new 165 strap.
We're just gonna borrow one of Conor's real quick.
Nate Diaz going around like just like kicking the shit out of every laptop he can see. He was like, fuck this, takes random strangers' cell phones, looks it up, smashes it on the ground, so upset.
So according to Shab, Diaz and who's he fighting?
Poirier.
Yeah, Poirier. They just decided, like, we're just gonna hype this thing as the 165 championship. Like, screw Dana, whatever. We're just gonna say it is. And we'll just ride that. We'll see what happens.
Well, I think they tried it, but like they've already said no. Now, how awesome would it be if they both like said to each other, "Let's just both show up overweight. We'll both show up at 165." But that's cool. It was cool that they kind of it was a cool bit of like fighter camaraderie and hey, what's up, little buddy, little man.
I gotta wait a few years and I can host my own podcast.
Right. Yeah, you get. That was a little bit of cuteness for our show. Thank you for that. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think that I like the idea of having a 165 division.
Yeah.
And you were kind of alluded to this during the press conference, but the UFC belts are UFC belts. They are like the undisputed like champion of the world belts. Right. Under that banner, those are the belts. It's like winning the World Series or winning the Super Bowl or winning the NBA championship. Like these are the belts for the biggest organization. They are seen as the ultimate championship. So it's not like boxing, because boxing has I don't think the problem with boxing is even the how many different weight classes there are. In boxing, like, you don't understand. Like in MMA, if you think that there's a bunch of weight classes, go look at boxing. Yeah. You got like they'll break them down, and some of them are like really like they break them down into fractions. There's tons of weight classes in boxing.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I think the problem, and it's not even the weight classes. I think the issue most people have with boxing is that you have multiple belts for the same weight class. So it's like, this guy has 7 different belts for middleweight, but middleweight for certain promotions, this weight versus this weight. But in the UFC, it'll just be, that's the belt. If you won the 155, you're 155 champion. If you're 165, you're 165 champion. And, I know Dana's just talking out of his ass, and the fact that he denied 165 is just further confirmation that they probably will be one. But I disagree with it just on principle that it's going to water down the division. There will be a ton more guys there will be guys that may not be super competitive at 170. Maybe guys that are a little bit too small but can't quite cut down to 155 that will be rock stars at 165. 165. It would have been Donald Cerrone would have been a 165 champion at some point.
Yes.
RDA could go down and beat a 165 champion. There are guys that are just built for that aren't quite big for 170. You're right, 170 is a weird weight. They put 170 in between 185 and 155, and it was basically you're a bigger than average guy, but you're not quite 185. And in my opinion, if you can make 185, then you're just a big guy. I think there are a lot of guys at 185 that could probably comfortably, like, not maybe be super competitive, but they could fight at heavyweight. Like if you can get to 185, like Weidman is a 185er. I'm sure he walks around at like 215, 220. Like he could fight at heavy, So I think, and then you definitely you can go and do light heavy, and I know that's the biggest jump. 185 to 205 is 20 pounds, but I just think a lot of those guys are 185. It's just like if you're above 185, you're just one of the big guys.
Right.
Like if you can't go down. Unless you were Anthony Rumble Johnson, decide to kill yourself. By the way, have you seen pictures of him lately? Dude is yoked. He's so big.
Yeah.
He left the UFC, went into a pot growing business, and decided to he's like, if the UFC ever adds a super heavyweight division,
he's running it. He's running his own security.
Dude,
Yeah,
bro's looking like he's 300 these days.
Yeah,
he's huge. He's a massive guy. But yeah,
I had a guy trying to get me into a gym back in Dallas, and we were chatting about it one day, and he's like, yeah, if you were like in the UFC, like you'd be a 185er, and I'm like, I could not imagine trying to make that cut, man. I'm a big dude. He's like, no, dude, you 205, you got to go to 185. Holy shit, man! Like I couldn't imagine trying to make that. But if you look at some of the 185 guys, they walk around big, man.
No, Luke Rockhold's like 6'3", like Yo Romero, like these guys are big guys. Like Whitaker is actually I think he was probably rightfully a 185. Whitaker, a guy, he's a champion right now, but he could be a guy where if they open up a 175 class, that might be better for him. There's just so many guys that they seem like they're better equipped, and I would say probably a lot of the grapplers that, because it's such a, like wrestlers, they're so good at being on point with their weight. And I think for wrestlers, being able to fight closer to your, your prime weight, your best fighting weight.
Yeah.
It benefits them. It benefits them. And,
keeps their strength, keeps their conditioning where they want it.
I think an example would be Kevin Lee, who's been pushing for 165. He says it's a real struggle for 155. He feels like he's one of the bigger guys at 155, but it's not an easy cut for him. I think that would be a nice division for
I just
him.
don't see the loss for the UFC at this point to start that up.
No, especially since they have this very stupid prerogative right now of saying we want to headline cards with title fights. Well, let's just have a bunch more title fights, because right now you're headlining that awesome New York card with Shevchenko, and it could have been Shevchenko Joanna, and I don't know why they announced that, and I was like, yes, awesome, they get to run it back from their Muay Thai days. But then they announced this other chick who I'm blanking on the name. And
I forgot to.
I wonder how many people that are watching this can be like, oh yeah, I know that. Maybe you just saw it off of Twitter or
how many people know Shevchenko?
True. You got to be like an MMA fan to really know Shevchenko. But if you are an MMA fan, you should know Shevchenko. Like she's in easily by far the best fighter in what seems to be a very sparse division there at 125 for the ladies. But that's not what the fans want. And this is a promotion that was supposed to not be like the other ones. These were the bad boys of entertainment. They were the guys that are like, we give the fans what they want. If you want to see how other fight promotions have done it, or combat sports has done it in the past, go watch the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder press conference, and the guy, there's a warning that there might be language and it's not family friendly, and the host is like, we apologize for the language that they're using, please refrain from that. And it's like, what? I'm sorry, my dudes, like, we're about to watch two giants punch each other in the face. We are not offended by the F-bomb.
Yeah.
We're not offended by the F-bomb. We're about to see, we're going to be paying good money to go see violence. So it's just, it's a different culture. And that's something that the UFC, it was kind of like that. They were ahead of the game, and maybe this is just a slight stagnation, but hopefully they hear the fans, but it's such a disservice too for Chev and this chick, because it's going to be like, I can't see a scenario where Poirier and Nate Diaz isn't like a barn burner, like a fight of the year candidate, especially if it's for the 165 strap. Let's just say it's just for a good 155 fight, right?
Right.
I can't see a scenario where like that's not a very exciting fight, and we're like, oh yeah, and then we go from that to the main event of Shevchenko just completely dominating a 3-2 fighter. Who's
4-2.
4-2.
I think she's 4-2. Yeah, that's what I heard earlier.
Well, I wouldn't want
still,
to.
like,
I wouldn't want to sell her short, Tyler.
Well, but how many guys are walking into the UFC? And this isn't a knock, and I know the girls don't have as many of the fight opportunities as the guys, like coming up. So I'm not trying to say that you don't deserve a title fight after only 6 fights, but it's something to look at, right? Like, it's just you don't have a very good record, and you're going for a title fight. What does that say about the division? You know, what does that say about the competition level that you're putting on? Again, you go for it, do it. Like, you still could win a title belt. Not taking that away from you, but the ability to really accelerate that fight, to get that average guy to go to the bar that night and to watch the fight, or to buy it at home and call his buddies or whatever. Like, you gotta have a little bit of that, and you package that fight with Poirier Diaz for a 165 title. People care. Right now, I don't think people care. To your point.
Yeah, I think. It's just not a very compelling division right now, and it's like funny because you created that, and the UFC's like, oh yeah, we don't want to like water down belts. It's like, dude, 155, 170, those are pretty stacked divisions, and there are going to be guys at 185 that will probably go, well, maybe I'd be better suited at 175, or maybe I could give it a go at 175. There's a lot of fun combinations there to be made, and it seems a little short-sighted by the UFC right now.
And it gives you options to not lose good fighters to things like Bellator, right? Like, Bellator has been getting more and more steam because they're catching these fighters who don't want to make that cut to 155, right? But at 170, there's nowhere for them to go. Like, they've hit their ceiling, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe at 165 they get a different opportunity. Maybe at 175 they get an opportunity because the guys are separating out, right? They're moving around. They're finding that sweet spot for them.
Mm-hmm.
Why lose fighters, good fighters, solid fighters to other promotions for no other reason than you're not giving them a better band to fight within? Like, let them do that.
Right. Yeah. No, I think we're in agreement, but you know. We'll see. Hopefully, we will. We'll get a little bit more of an intriguing resolution to all that. I think there's a high probability that what it is what it is. It's going to be Chev versus a relative unknown for the belt, and that's going to be the main event. And then the fight before, it's going to be a hell of a fight that all the fans are actually going to be tuning in to watch. And that's just the way it's going to be. And whatever. I mean, it's not like the main event is what sells the fight. It's going to be the name. It's going to be the story. But it's not always the best fight. And I think you could make a case that oftentimes it is not the best fight. So I think that's fine. I'm really more upset that they just decided to not let Joanna fight Chev for the 125 belt. I thought that would have been like an awesome match. Yeah. And even then, I kind of feel like there were people complaining about that. They were like, that's kind of weak for a title fight, Joanna and Chev for 125. People were still arguing that like Nate and Poirier should have been the main event. And then they were like, oh, you didn't think that was good enough? Well, we could do you one better. Is it Eubanks? Am I something Eubanks?
Well, at least Joanna's got a little bit of name recognition behind her too, right? Like, she's been in a couple high-profile fights recently.
Yeah.
You can kind of sell that story. Like, there's some juice to that fight.
Right, and she's Sayara Eubanks. That's right. Okay. So yeah, she has a bit of a name. She was kind of, I mean, she was the queen of the 115 division, and she did a little talking too. So she kind of filled that Ronda Rousey void. We didn't really have like a girl like Rose is very soft spoken. I think people love her for it. A lot of the female champions have been more on the soft spoken side. Holly Holm, not much of a trash talker. Maisha Tate, not much of a trash talker. Amanda Nunes, not much of a trash talker. So I think the fans really gravitated Joanna because she had personality, she had gravitas, and
but Rose also, the way that Rose carried herself,
kind
of like what you were talking about with Diaz and Conor, being able to take it and not be phased, like
not be rattled.
You never thought Rose was like, holy shit, what am I doing here?
Right.
She just breezed right through it twice, right? Like, so that style, that fit, right? Like that's when you can take a more calm person and a really like excited, hyped up person, and you put them together, and you still get sparks, right? They worked really well together.
Yeah, it's like, sorry, Boogie Woman, not afraid, not afraid, Boogie Woman. All right, let's. So I guess we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, talking about that Madison Square Garden fight, but they're always big events, so we're just kind of excited for it. We're definitely excited for this one, UFC 229. Headlined by the notorious Conor McGregor. He's going to fight Khabib, the Eagle. And I think we're going to see a hell of a fight. But if we're just judging from the press conference, not a good showing from Khabib.
From the current champ,
Yeah. We'll see. I think a lot is always made of those stare downs after the weigh-ins. And now that the UFC has changed it to where they can weigh in earlier so these guys can go back, hydrate, and sort of get back into their sane mental state, they can kind of go out there and just be a little bit more loose. So if we see a more loose Khabib tomorrow, I think if you are a Khabib fan, if you were choosing Khabib to win this fight, if you are betting on Khabib, you might feel a little bit more confident. You want to see him. I think that's the last opportunity to really kind of make up for what has been a lackluster showing at both press conferences. And again, I don't know how much stock to put into this, but it's not a good look. It could be that he looks like that and then he goes out there and still dominates Conor. That could happen. But if we're just judging by this, Conor 2-0, and Kavanaugh, his coach, has said before, we treat the build-up as the first round. Conor has won one, and then we go in and we finish this up. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Looks like you got dad duty. You got dad duty. I gotta let you go. Get back to that. Thanks for doing this with me, Tyler. And until next time, we are the Bros.